Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Friday, the 24th of October. It is here. We are live. See how this goes. I'm not gonna lie, see how this goes because I'm still, quite sick. I'm not gonna lie. So, taking this quite cautiously, let's just put it that way. Because if it goes wrong, if I don't feel great, I definitely am going to. This is gonna cut the stream short, but for now we are live, we are here, we are doing things as it should have been done. Of course, on Sunday, Arsenal are playing against Crystal Palace, and I don't expect an easy game. Not expect an easy game whatsoever. So definitely, it will be an interesting one to see, to follow, see how Arsenal deal with Mateta. There is some worries that Gabriel is injured and he might not be playing. So we're definitely gonna discuss all that. With there, obviously there is speculation, might be some random speculation, but apparently there was no Saka in the pictures of the training, so people are saying that Saka actually might not be in there. So go figure, genuinely go figure. But today we're gonna talk about Crystal Palace as Arsenal, Gabriel injury worried, and the main thing. During the week, we won 4-0, against Atletico Madrid. Absolutely smashed them in the second half, and now it is basically do or die. We need to keep the momentum going. We need to win all of the games before the November international break, because that would put us in the most advantageous situation in terms of going after November international break, which sees us play against Spurs, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Aston Villa. Very tough games that are ahead of us after that. So definitely this is time to make maybe some cushion even in Premier League if the other teams could slip up, although I don't see it happening, but maybe, who knows, just maybe it could happen. But definitely Arsenal have a big task ahead of them, and Crystal Palace definitely won't be easy to beat. Without shadow of a doubt. Last year we drew against them at home, Mateta chipped us and everything, and Mateta ultimately is the biggest worry right now. Yes, we can get them offensively, but yeah, Mateta is always a handful, and I don't know, it feels weird talking about Mateta because no team picked him up. He stayed at Crystal Palace during summer, and good for Palace in those terms because he absolutely is hitting the ground running. He scored a hat-trick in the previous game, which also is playing into confidence in the boost that Mateta is getting quite massively. I think that could be a very big, very big advantage for the striker in those terms. So yeah, people, like the stream, subscribe if you're new, and of course, leave your thoughts down the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, and we can go from there. Big up Mubarak. Hope you're doing well. Bad news about Gabriel. Yeah, 100%. Because for me, he is the best defender Arsenal have at the moment, even over Saliba. Some people will argue, but I don't see it that way, at least myself. Mosquera maybe will be in. Definitely, maybe Mosquera will be in. Maybe Hinkapie will play. Who knows? But yeah, we need to be careful about Matera. Definitely. That is one of the biggest things. That is one of the biggest things. Big up Sheldon. Big up Sheldon. Hope you're doing well. We went Spain and got 3 points, but man, I'm scared of some South London. Spain came to us. We didn't even go to Spain. We played at home. Like, let's be real. Yeah, 3 points. And last year also 3 points against West Ham. We lost to them, right? And 3 points against Brighton, and we drew to them. I don't take this like that. I take one game at a time. Is it nice that we beat Atletico Madrid 4-0? Yes, it is. Should we must keep the momentum going. Yes, we do. But to take them lightly, it should be free 3 points. There's no chance in hell I will ever look at that, especially in Crystal Palace under Glasner. No chance in hell whatsoever. None whatsoever. Big up PW. Hope you're doing well. Big up Hendon. I'm feeling decent, but not great. I'm not gonna lie. And I said also in the beginning, if something goes south, I'm going to end the stream short. I'm not going to lie. But at the moment, we're going strong. 5 minutes in. It's still good. Big up Stockholm Gunner. Long time no see, my guy. Long time no see. Big up to everyone. But obviously, in other news regarding Arsenal, because we need to address them quite quickly in everything, is the fact that obviously we're going to talk about, if I could actually get the picture up, though, that would be kind of nice. Of course, that would be very nice if I could manage to get the pictures up. Let's just put it that way. First things first, which is a great news if you are an Arsenal fan. We'll see how this goes, and we see how this develops for Arsenal's future. But this is the big thing. This is one of those big things, is the fact that Max Daumann has signed a new deal at Arsenal. Huge new deal. Obviously, it's just a scholarship deal, but he is expected to go pro and go pro at Arsenal specifically once he turns 17 in a bit more than a year. But Max Dauman, he could have moved everywhere. He had interest from all across the world, what it felt like, and somehow he decided to stay at Arsenal, which is great news for us because Max Dauman, you could argue, is one of those young, hot prospects everyone talks about. I don't know if it's just a speculation or not, if it's true or not, but even if Real Madrid are looking at you at 15, definitely it means something. If we are putting it that way, let's see how his future develops at Arsenal. Let's see how he plays for Arsenal, because so far we more see him in under 21s than in Arsenal's main team. In Arsenal's main team, we see him more on the bench or not even registered to the squad. So hopefully, just hopefully, everything goes in our way and our way, not in our way, but goes our way and everything goes according to plan. But definitely, Max Dauman signing a new deal definitely is some fantastic news. The Crystal Palace with Glasner could be a tricky one. It will be a tricky one. Last year as well, it wasn't easy. We played against Glasner. It was a 1-1. This year, yes, did they lose on yesterday? Because I didn't finish to watch the games. Did they lose yesterday to the Greek team in Conference League? Did they lose to them? Conference League, where is Crystal Palace? Let me check quickly. Yes, they lost to AEK Larnaca. They lost, not Greek team, sorry. They lost to team from Cyprus, 1-0 at home at Selhurst Park, which definitely is not a great thing for Crystal Palace. And they will also going to try and make their ground up from that. They will try to maybe make a statement, because in Premier League it's a bit different. It definitely is a bit different. Gabriel showing up as injured on Defensive Premier League for this week, and he is. Mikel Arteta talked in press conference. We're going to get to the press conference very soon. But it looks like he has picked up an injury, and hence that was also the reason why he got subbed off against Atletico Madrid. He felt something, and he didn't train. He didn't train today, which is, again, another worrying sign that Gabriel actually might be out for the Crystal Palace game, which is not great. It's not great. Then again, looking from the other perspective, we should be winning against Palace, should be winning against Slavia Prague, Sunderland, Brighton, and Burnley without Gabriel. We should be able that, but we all know that Arteta and this Arsenal team puts also a heavy emphasis on set pieces, and we all know that Gabriel is the focal point of those set pieces in terms of corners, free kicks, to getting that last delivery, to basically putting ball in the back of the net. It will be interesting if Gabriel doesn't play, who is going to take on his role, because I'm not going to lie, Gabriel has been quite exceptional in that role. He's been quite exceptional, to say the least. Let's just put it that way. Big up AFC always. Hope you're doing well. And we have 48 hours. No excuses, exactly. And how long Gabriel is out for, I have no idea. Mikel Arteta obviously didn't say any specifics. He didn't put a specific timeline on him and all that stuff. Yeah, Mosquera is ready, hopefully. Hincapie is also back. Maybe Hincapie will play as a left-sided center back, because that's what he was brought here for. Allegedly, that's what we get told all the time. So we'll see. Leeds 1-0 up against West Ham. Amazing. You love to see Leeds winning, don't you? Game is, of course, at Elland Road. Aronson scored 1-0 Leeds. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. I'm not going to lie. I would love for Leeds to stay up. Definitely would love for Leeds to stay up without shadow of a doubt. Big up, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. This stupid shtick in the chat becoming pretty annoying, but to be fair, stupid. You mean the ads or what? Everything seems to annoy me lately. At least I hope you're doing well. Well, I'm very sick, so I'm not doing well, definitely. I'm just on some, medicine at the end of the day to try and be good, basically. West Ham is turning, yeah, they are, and that is the nuts part. They are quite heavily. At the moment, if they keep this up, they're one of the prime candidates to going down, which is also quite insane to think about in those terms. Aronson scores. Nice. But yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about is interview with, coincidentally enough, with Oliver Glasner. Anyone seen the interview with Oliver Glasner? He spoke about the team. He spoke about the formations he likes and how he should build the team. So definitely he spoke about that. And I found it quite curious. Let's just put it that way in terms of how he described everything. He was quite curious. Because here is what Oliver Glasner said, right, about all of this. About the system. It must fit the players, first of all. There is too much discussion about the system, and that is rightly so because, for example, me as an Arsenal fan, I talk about the system almost every single stream without basically taking a break, because that is one of the biggest issues. The system must fit the players, and if it doesn't, you have to adjust the system to fit the players. And it feels like we do it backwards. We adjust the player to fit the system at the end of the day. And Glasner said that there is too much discussion about the system. The system is not important. Habits are important. The parents and how you want your players to behave on the pitch, that is much more important. And obviously, if we look just from that perspective in terms of habits are important and the parents, how you want your players to behave on the pitch, that basically fits to Mikel Arteta to a T, because he wants them to be slow, he wants them to be pragmatic, keep possession, play it safe, and all that stuff. So in those terms, it 100% plays in Mikel Arteta's system. Like, it goes both ways, at least this statement. In my career, I have played every single system. Got promoted in Austria with a 4-4-2, then switched to 3-4-3. In Wolfsburg, we reached the Champions League with 4-2-3-1. In Frankfurt, they played with 3 at the back before, and he won the Europa League, and that was mostly because it fit the squad. You need to pick the formation that fits this squad. And for me personally, the 4-3-3 that Arteta insists on playing with 65 different dimensions and styles during the game doesn't fit the squad. It would be much more preferential, in my opinion, to start in a formation that fits the team, which gives more room to operate for the team in general, which makes them to think less about the shiftings in formations when we attack and defend. I always look at the system, what system might suit the players we have best. And see, this is the thing. If I ask you all at the moment, do you think that this 4-3-3 system we start the games in fits the style of these players? Does it suit the players we have right now? Does the 4-2-3-1 suit the players we have right now the best? Because for me, 4-2-3-1 suits us more than the 4-3-3, but I still believe it's not the best system that suits the players at the end of the day. My favorite system is 4-4-2, but do we have the right players for this? And Crystal Palace don't, ironically enough. We are talking much more about our habits than the system. The system is very fluid, and this is what Arsenal do. Arsenal's system is very fluid because we switch around about 55 different formations during games, and we technically count as very fluid, but we don't have a distinct style in those terms. It's important the players know what we want to do, and this is what decides about being successful or not. And that is the biggest thing at the end of the day, because to some extent, you could argue that the formation you start and play the games in does not matter, because in the game it changes anyways countless times, and it's more on the players and the designated game plan and everything that basically makes it work or makes it not work. Let's just put it that way. And for Arsenal, we do it all across the pitch, which is a bit confusing at times, but at the same time, it also is very good for us because we can adapt to some extent. But for me, I'm not too sure in terms of these 4-3-3s, 5-4-1s, 5-2-2s, and in attack and defense, whether that is the best course of action at times. Even though it is advantageous for us. The way we defend, it feels like it's a fortress, and then the way we attack, it also feels very, very sometimes overwhelming for the defensive side, and we score chances. But at the same time, there are times when it feels like, what are we even doing on the pitch? Like, it goes both ways, sadly. Nope. I see. We can accommodate 3-4-3. Yes, in my opinion, this team is kind of built for 3-4-3, 100%. Or 3-5-2. We can also look at that. But we are definitely, in my opinion, this team is more accommodated for different formation without shadow of a doubt. Honestly, bro, you would have a valid point if we weren't winning. I see this as just digs at the clown. Well, that's your opinion, and it is what it is. But for me, I still don't think it's the right case, because the only formation we have had success in is 3 at the back, and we have never played it since. Yes, it's great that we win games, but if it doesn't lead us to winning the big ones, if it doesn't lead us to lifting the armpits at the end of the season, at the end of the day, it kind of means also it's kind of irrelevant, because picking up wins and you're still falling short, it means that something is going wrong to some extent and you need some changes. And sometimes we haven't, even during the season, yes, we see in games that we change formations, but we don't ever start games in different formations just to maybe try throw something different out there. But we are not playing either of those. When we are on defense, yeah, it's 4-4-2 or 4-5-1, something like that. It's always like that, exactly, or 5-4-1, something. We just drop our wingers back down, and it turns into 5 or 6 at the back at times as well if we sit down deep. When we are in position 3 or 2, 6-1, yeah, we usually have 3. I have seen us have 3 forwards, 5 midfielders, which overlap and invert, and 2 defenders at the back as well. Seen that as well. It's usually what we do at the end of the day. I think he's just saying all that to play mind game with Arteta, but in truth, he is a tactician. Without shadow of a doubt, you cannot win Europa League without not being a tactician. Because on the way, Eintracht also beat, for example, Barcelona at the time, which also says a lot, doesn't it? In those plays, yeah. If we play 3 at the back, even every game, though, we are 3 at the back team. Yeah, I get it. We do it in the game, but we shift the players around, which means we are starting with players that actually are playing out of position, because Skelly is not a left back. Let's be real. Calafiori also is not a left back, technically speaking. He's more of a center back, or as a left wing back. Skelly is a midfielder. We played some players out of positions. Martinelli is also, for me, he is not a left winger. He's more of a secondary striker, striker in those terms, number 9. Like, we play players out of positions just because we have that style and the formation Arteta wants to play. But we could actually also play some styles and formations since the beginning that we actually just start the specific players in specific positions in those terms as well. But I get your point. I totally get your point. Arteta constantly mind games opponents and fans, is always bamboozled by his words. I mean, goosebumps, really? Yeah, it is goosebumps. Definitely, it is goosebumps. Every single time it is goosebumps. What do you mean? What do you even mean? Like, seriously, let's look at this. Let's look at this, because we have to. We kind of have to. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, the destruction of Darth Vader in his eyes, and everything. Just look at it. Let's do some Mikel Arteta Waffle House settings. Waffle, 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 waffle. Let's do this, people. Let's do some wafflage over here. Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the press ahead of our clash against Crystal Palace in the Premier League this Sunday. So let's see what he got to say. On the latest team news following our win over Atletico Madrid, and here it is, not much. Gabriel Magalhaes had to leave the pitch with an issue. He didn't specify what kind of issue as well. And he hasn't been able to train yet, which means he hasn't been in the training since Tuesday, and we are on Friday already, which is very worrying. Obviously, tomorrow is a training session as well. Will there be Gabriel or not? That obviously depends to be seen. So let's see how he, again, evolves in the next 24 hours to see whether he's available or not for the weekend. On the long-term injuries to Madueke, Odegaard, Havertz, and Jesus, they're progressing really well. They're starting to do certain activities. They're all super willing to be available as quickly as possible, but at the moment, none of them are in contention in the next week or so. So at least until the international break is over, none of them are going to play. And as people are saying in the chat, it is 2-0 leads. Big up Stockholm Gunnar. Rodon has scored and made it 2-0 leads. Yeah, West Ham are about to go into abyss at this place. On conceding just 3 goals in our first 12 games, and if there's a motivation to break Chelsea's record. Shouldn't be speaking about Chelsea's record this soon, but it is what it is. We want these kind of records. We have been getting a lot of them. At the end, we wanted to bring the silverware and the trophies, obviously. But obviously, there are more we can produce. I think the closer we are going to be to achieving what we want to do, and that defensive record is very good, but we need to be consistent. It's only just at the start of the season. Exactly. People get very carried away with this stuff. The aim is to continue improving things, which we can still do a lot to do even better. That is the point. That is definitely the point, without shadow of a doubt. Only hooded coat is missing and some badge. Perfect cult leader, you know. That look in his eyes and the glare and the stare and everything. I just don't get why we are talking about Chelsea's defensive record already. Yes, we have conceded 3 goals in 12 games, right? Which is quite fantastic to say the least. We're gonna concede goals. That is inevitable, right? He says that these type of records is something we should be going after. I get the idea and the reasoning behind this, right? But at the end of the day, these records mean literally less than nothing if you don't win at the end of the season. Because we can concede 14 goals this season in Premier League, and we still may not win the Premier League, ironically enough. It is possible. Yes, we will have beaten the Chelsea's defensive record, but again, we will not have won the Premier League. So unless it comes together with that, it kind of is irrelevant to some extent. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of is relevant to some extent. Next manager getting sacked is West Ham Santos. West Ham might be. Who is West Ham's manager? Really? Like West Ham is gonna, Nuno Espirito Santo might get sacked, couldn't he? Already 2 games in and he's gonna lose again. Like, this is nuts. And even if you look at, by the way, if you look at West Ham's starting 11, right? Areola, Kilman, Todibo, Wan-Bissaka, Scarles, Soucek, Irving, Diouf, Somerville, Lucas Paqueta, Bowen. Technically speaking, that attack is decent. That team is decent. It should not be where they are right now. How they are so low, it's actually kind of nuts if you think about it. How they are this low, how they are not performing, it is kind of weird thing, and it is kind of insane. I rate Leeds the worst out of the promoted trio. To be honest, for me, it's Burnley, then it's Leeds. For me, Leeds is going to be like that 16 to 18, right? And they're going to be a few points either above relegation or below relegation. They're going to drop out. They're going to be, I think, somewhere there. Worst of the promoted trio, then by my logic, West Ham at the moment are the same as Wolves, and they deserve the relegation. I like my logic, but it is only now. It's only 9 games in. Well, after this game, of course, it will be only 9 games in. If we are looking from that point of view, without shadow of a doubt. On Eze coming up against his former club this week, and it's a big game for us because last season we dropped some points, and it's the 4th game in a row that we are going to play against opponents that we drop points against. Yes, we beat Newcastle, we beat West Ham, we beat who did we beat as well against the team we dropped points? It's Newcastle, it was West Ham, and it was Fulham. Yeah. We beat all of them. Now it's another team that we drop points against, right? And this is Crystal Palace. And for me, to be honest, it has been one of the biggest talking points throughout my recent streams, right? If for Arsenal, the main task is, right, this season, for me at least, win at least the same amount of games you won last year by default. Then the last year's draws, which were 14 of them, by the way, turn at least 10 of those draws into wins. Because that gives extra, let's just say even 9 wins, right? 27 to 30 points. If you add it to the total we get by the wins we would got by default, right? It should be enough, like 92 to 97 points. In that, if we are in that gap, it should be enough for us to win the league. It should. Let's just hope it can happen. If we can turn at least, as I said, 9 or 10 draws from last year into wins, it should increase our odds in winning the league tenfold. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Leeds could make it. Big up Marlon. Big up Marlon. Top up Jade. This is Marlon, people, by the way. Yeah, Palace always. Yeah, Palace is one of the biggest issues. Yeah, we would make our odds look better by a country mile as well. We know that for Ebbs, oh bloody hell, it's going to be a very special match with the history that he did for Palace, but focus on the team. In our previous games against Palace forms part of our messaging for this one. If we want a very different outcome, we'd better do very different things that we did last year, especially in these fixtures. We know that Palace are doing what Oliver Glasner is doing for the football club and the way they're getting results. So it's going to be a really tough match, but we are going to play again in front of our crowd, and we are confident that if we hit our level, we have a big chance to win it. And that is the biggest thing. If we hit our level, if we can keep the momentum from the second half against Atletico Madrid going, if we can actually build up on that and basically push it even further, it should be a win for us, without shadow of a doubt. It should be. But if we start slow, we get hit with a quick goal from Palace, it again could be a very long match. Like, that is the other thing. As they should be balling against Palace. Well, should. Like, that's the thing. Should and could and would, different things. Could, but he may not play ruthless against. Nah, I don't think so. We won't need that to win this time. But we need max out anyways. Yeah, we need to. Exactly, we need to. This schedule we have right now, up until November international break, is very favorable. We should be winning all of these games with no questions asked as well. That's the thing. This is why I said that I'm going to put my pink tinted glasses if we have 3 points and a clean sheet versus Palace. And they are much more formidable at the moment. Okay, we get 3 points, but don't get a clean sheet against Palace. The hat is not coming on. You're not you're not wearing your Arteta copium, Arteta sexual goggles. To be fair, their last 2 games were ish, so who knows exactly. And against that team from Cyprus, right? They yielded actually a very strong 11. A 11 I would expect them to put out against Arsenal as well, to some extent, at least about 7 to 9 players, which really surprised me to some extent. Plus, Arsenal have extra 48 hours to recover from Tuesday and everything. So it will be very interesting to see. Will be interesting to see. Just the tie ball. Damn. Don't ever underestimate Palace. And Nketiah, Mateta, Sa, plus the way they know how to break our defense. Yeah, I will not be surprised if Eddie Nketiah scores a goal. Just saying. I will not be surprised if Eddie Nketiah scores a goal against us. Now, just look at this, right? I want to show you this. This is the starting 11 that Crystal Palace put out against the Greek team. Team from Cyprus, right? The AAK. Pino, Mateta, Sa, Michel, Lerma, Hughes, Munoz, Canavet, Lacroix, Gehi, and Henderson. I'm telling you, I literally would expect at least 7 to 9 players from this 11 to play against us on Sunday, which is very weird. Very weird. Maybe they expected to win this game and they against Arsenal, they maybe put a handbrake on and everything. They might maybe accept something in that game, but it didn't feel like that. That for me is the thing. Gehi is going to play. Lacroix is going to play. Canavet is going to play. Mitchell is going to play. Lerma, Munoz definitely are going to play. Sar, Mateta is going to play without shadow of a doubt. For me, that is the biggest thing. Uche, Hughes, Wharton might start, to be honest. Kamada, I think Wharton might be in the midfield, definitely against Arsenal, if we are looking from that point of view. But overall, I expect the starting 11 they had out, like Richards might also start. I think Richards might start instead of Canova. Maybe Wharton is going to start over Lerma or Hughes, but that pretty much, this 11 you see in front of your eyes, about 90% I expect them to be against Arsenal as well. Which really was interesting that when I saw the starting 11 and the team they had put out against that team. Perfect then to introduce Hincapié, exactly, as well. I would love to see Hincapié. That was a very weird game and even a more weird, exactly, 100%. Chu, Hincapié, Mosquera, even the Hincapié Saliba, give Hincapié finally a run. It's pretty much inexcusable if we don't win. Well, yeah, exactly. If they play like that way it did against Liverpool against us, this game will be very interesting. Yep. Like Crystal Palace, if they switch on like they did against Liverpool, we might be in for a very long 90 minutes. If they play like they played against that Cyprus team, well, we might actually win quite comfortably. With Ben White, Skelly, Vanieri, Norgard, Merino, and Eze, and left wing Saka and right wing Gyökeres up. No, Norgard. No, Norgard. We should win against Crystal Palace, but that team actually might fall a bit short. On the challenge of leaving players out of the team given the strength of the squad, there are 2 sides to it. One, the emotional part, and the emotional part and my attachment with the individual, with the person, and I would play them all. But the second one, obviously, without a question of a doubt, I'd rather have the situation than the situation we had in the last few years when at some point we were very short in numbers. To be honest, if we get few injuries, we might get back to that. So we have created a very strong environment. The thing is, this question he got asked this question about a month ago, and he had pretty much the same copy-paste answer, so I'm going to skip that. On Matera's form and how to stop him. That's a question. First of all, it's what they do as a team, their level and organization. They have very clear intentions of how they want to attack and which moment they use to attack and to hurt opponents. So stopping the source is probably the best way. When you get into certain situations with him 1v1, you know that he is prolific and he's been very, very successful, especially recently. So trying to avoid that. On what the conversion with Gyökeres was like after with his 2 goals on Tuesday. He didn't need a conversion. He just needed a hug and just look at him and enjoy how happy he was. Yeah, I hope hopefully these 2 Gyökeres goals against Atletico Madrid will spur him on, will give him that inspiration to score as well in Premier League. And if he's concerned that we only have 5 goals from open play so far, and this for me at the moment, it's not big concern. But let's just say if we go to like December and it's like 10 goals, I will be concerned. I literally will be concerned because Arsenal have 5 goals from open play and we have scored 15 goals in Premier League. 15. And 5 only have been from open play. That is an issue. That is an issue. Because as soon as, let's just say, the set piece goals dry up, and we haven't figured out how to score from open play, we will be in massive issues. We will have massive troubles. That for me at the moment is not as big of an issue or worry, but it could become one massive worry for Arsenal, 100%. They didn't look like they were playing to win that match. Yeah, give him a run. I want to see him play at least. Yeah, you want to. Arteta doesn't want to. He wants to win. Although I would still love to see Vanjeri, let's just say in the 10 or on the right as well or somewhere. Why I'm including clean sheet clause? Because they unlocked our goal in last few times. It seems almost effortless to score 2+ goals versus, especially at Ashburton Grove. We'll see. I really wish they included the names of the people asking some of those questions. It sometimes serves a clear fact check if needed. Yeah, 100%. To be honest, you could look at the press conference in video, right? And maybe try to make out some voices because there are some of these YouTube channels who get in there and they have very distinct voices. Raya is kind of bad with his passing. If he slips, he'll... I don't think so, but Raya has been a bit suspect in recent times. That I will give you. Big up, Godfrey. Big up, Godfrey. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. On how we perfected our set pieces with work. Well, that's a nice one. On the point when he thought it would be smart to hone in on set pieces. 10 years ago. I think it has to be. I wasn't here, but 10 years ago, I said it's a massive thing to do that. And I started to have a vision and try to implement a method and try to be surrounded by the best people to deliver that. 10 years ago, 10 years ago. Wait. 10 years ago, he decided that set pieces are a big thing. When he was 33. Holy crap. What happened to Gabriel? He felt something in the Atletico Madrid game. He got subbed off and he hasn't trained since, according to Mikel Arteta. So tomorrow is the last training before the game, and if he doesn't train, he might actually not play. He felt something. The nuts part is Arteta didn't specify what he felt during that game, which is still a big mystery. No, Nelly or Trossard, God please, and let Vanjeri stand. Maybe. Set piece of say. For real at this point, yeah. Damn, man, we are cooked. That's the thing. Gabriel, as I said in the beginning of the stream, Gabriel is the focal point of our set piece situations, right? And if Gabriel is out, who is going to take the set pieces? And who is going to be the main man up top for the deliveries? That, for me, is the next question. We might see Hinkapie. I hope so. I want to see him in the team. I want to see him in the game. I definitely would love to see him because we haven't seen enough of him. No one. Well, we need someone, to be honest. We definitely need someone. Or if we're trying to replicate Wenger's success with a tight back four. I go back through the history of football in general and the teams that have the best defensive records most of the time, except for the last 3 seasons in the Premier League, which we did. Normally, you win the league. Keep shooting your own horn. Not gonna lie. So just go against those stats, but the stronger we are in the foundation, the bigger the probability. And that is without shadow of a doubt. Without shadow of a doubt, the bigger is the bigger probability. The thing is, though, if you struggle to score from open play and the set piece goals dry up, that defensive record is great, but if you cannot score, it's not it. And if it's tempting not to change too much when things are going well, they're far from perfect, and there are a lot of things we must do better. Obviously, there are a lot of things that we are doing very, very well, and we need to maintain that. So it's just about understanding that the margins to win football games at this level are very small. Fine margins, guys. Fine margins. But that's not going to be the same trajectory all the way the season. We need to be prepared for that. Exactly. On the importance of the Emirates Stadium atmosphere in the title race. Key. Capital. One of the most important things, and I love that because we don't expect supporters to turn up to this. We don't expect. Okay, I know what he means, but in general, it sounds hella weird. This sounds. It's the most important thing, and I love that because we don't expect supporters to turn up to the stadium. This is the nuts part. I know what he means. That he wants to say technically that they play like every game for the fans, and they want to basically make fans to go to the stadium with their performances, and then they get support. But if you look at it in general, the way it has been phrased, it sounds very not the way he wants to say it. If we're going to so on what it's like to play against a former club, there's something in your tummy. Hey, yummy in my tummy. Woo. Anyways, quickly moving on. And if he saw where the game was going regarding set pieces 10 years ago, I went to City with the best manager in the world, and I could see where he could have improved, where he could have had improvements. And it was clear because at some point I was doing that and I wasn't the best person in the world to do it. So if I'm not the best person in the world to do it, and the best method is to do it, there are always ways to improve. Fact. On Rice's set piece taking ability, again, I heard some quotes that he made that this season his position has changed a little bit, and I disagree with that because his position has evolved and he is becoming a total player. Well, changes are not a bad thing. A total player has to be able to do as many things as possible, and he has the best capacity to do that. He has, but overall, I'm not gonna lie, he can't do all the things very well. There are some issues still with him for me. What Zubimendi has added to the midfield, very, very well. Every player is different. We have some terrific midfielders here. I don't know if he meant terrific or horrific. That is two different things for me personally. Terrific and horrific. If you get the joke, you're a real one. Who would you play left back? I would play Calafiori. Defensively, we are still suspect on set pieces. That for me is another worry. But I think we are very good at set pieces. We are the best in Europe, arguably in the world, you could say. But it's inevitable that they also might dry up. Zubi has turned out to be him. Can't lie. I was giving him so much hate. I wanted him to be a reserve team. He has been decent, but he definitely can still go levels up without shadow of a doubt. For me, the issue is when he gets pressed heavily. When he gets pressed, when he gets smothered by the other team, then he kind of starts to panic and disappears. And yeah, West Ham have made it 2-1, by the way. Lucas Paqueta has scored. So it will be interesting to see how this game develops from now on. Oh, it's VAR. Holy crap, it might be cancelled. Is it offside? Shows the free signals and quality checked using the VAR. Hopefully it won't take too long for the build-up. So VAR is checking West Ham's goal. Is it offside, people? Let me know in the chat. Skelly made the claim for the position in that Madrid game. 100%. 100%. But I kind of feel like I would play Calafiori. I've tuned out the press conference coverage. I just can't do it. I get it, Kendon. I absolutely get it. If Calafiori starts, Sarri will destroy him. To be honest, he can destroy most people. What was your FPL team lineup for this weekend? Nothing special. Nothing special. Points. Nothing special. My team for this weekend is nothing special. Pope, Timber, Calafiori, Pedro Porro, Caicedo, Semenyo, Reinders, Kluivert, João Pedro, Hall, and then Voltemade. Nothing special. The usual suspects, the usual stuff. At the end of the day, nothing special in those terms. I have offside for West Ham. I have small reservations about Reinders, but overall, we'll see. We'll see. Damn, that was harsh. Stop the Prime Messi. West Ham can't get a break. It feels that way. Call of Fury, defender. Nah. Big up Waffle Don. Big up Abs. Big up Abs. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope you are doing well today, my guy. Hope everything's well with you. Hope you are fine. Hope Arsenal don't disappoint us this weekend. So Galatasaray won, so Arsenal won, so you are happy chappy in terms of football. Offside. Thank you. So West Ham actually cannot catch a break, literally. Big up Abs, the legend. Big up Fusion is not jazz. Hope you're doing well. If Calafiori starts, we'll have to defend every minute. No. I don't think so. The thing is, I expect Calafiori to start because Skelly started during the week. João Pedro and Porro seem to be useless in FPL lately. Wait for it. Trossard is starting, not Martinelli. Could be the case. 100% could be the case. On the work we do, okay. On if teams are moving more towards his way of thinking, I don't know. Nobody cares. On the journey of his ideas about set pieces over 10 years. On if this is phase 5. Is this phase 5, people? No, this is not about phases. The phases was something else. I'm not saying anything, but there are last 2 questions, and nobody asked what were the phases about. I'm not gonna lie, that is a bit suspect, to say the least. It's not about the phases. What the hell was the phases for then? First of all, and if the phases was something else, what were the phases? Like, what? What were the phases then? Or if it's possible to break Chelsea's record, nobody cares. On only conceding 1 goal from open play. That is great. I'm not going to lie. Conceding 1 goal from open play is great. Scoring just 5 out of 15 in Premier League from open play. That is disastrous. No, it's not disastrous, but that definitely is a massive worry for me. For me, that is a worry at this stage overall. I'm not going to lie. For me, that is a worry, no matter how you look at it. Yeah, we cannot start against Palace. Wait for what? Arteta brought more points in game week 1 than Pedro Porro and JP in the last 2 game weeks combined. I don't know what you're doing there. For me, it's been okay. For me, literally, it's been okay. And you realize that Mateta is a striker and Porro is a defender, right? You cannot compare those two in those terms. You cannot compare those two. Pedro Porro 2 weeks ago got me 7 points. He was one of the main catalysts in my 93-point game week, by the way. This was my point. This was one of my game weeks. Pedro Porro got 7 points. I got 93 points. Like, I'm not going to argue over FPL. That, for me, is the dumbest shit in the world. I'm not going to talk about it. I just do it because it's fun. But overall, to get so deep into it, it's a bit nuts. For me, Porro has been very good. I'm not going to lie. And yes, João Pedro has not been this. I put João Pedro back in the team last weekend. Only last weekend I had him out of the team and he was sold. I put him back in because I think in the next few games he's going to score some goals based on what Chelsea are doing. Trossard was rested just like Calafiori. Yeah, that is the case. My front line is Gyökeres, Haaland, and Woltemade. Yeah, you see. Smart man, although it's a big risk having Gyökeres in your front line, given that Gyökeres has scored 3 goals in 8 games. And he has scored 2 goals of those 3 in just 1 game. It's a bit of an issue. Saying just do it for fun, not heavily invested. Exactly. I know the game week comes. I look at the team I have. I look at the last few weeks. I see what teams they are playing. And on that, I maybe make one change or switch some subs. And that's about it. I don't go deep into it that I must get the maximum amount of points. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, I talk about it. But overall, it's not that deep. Let's just put it that way. Anyways, people. Anyhow. We need to do this, don't we? We need to do this. Starting 11. Oh, I need to zoom in a bit. Holy crap, why did it zoom out? We need to do this. Main problem is Mateta and Saar plus Skete. We'll see. But Mateta is a worry. Saar is a worry. It's going to be a physical, rough game. Depending on the defensive line, what Crystal Palace is going to put out, we could have some issues. But overall, let's see. But starting 11. So I expect this to be a thing, right? I am this far. Jeremy Pino is good. I really like Jeremy Pino. He just definitely is gonna need time. He's still like, he's not young, but he also, like, he's 23. He's gonna take time 100%. No FPL, although at the same week, Porro got me 7 points, Munoz got 8 with a yellow, 2 conceded goals, go figure. Exactly. Literally, for me, Porro is in the team because he is arguably one of the most attacking wingbacks in the league. He tends to be on set pieces for Spurs, and he takes some nut shots as well. So there is more of an upside than the downside of having Porro, and I never expect my defenders to get double-digit points in FPL. If they do, better for me. But if they get 5 or above points in FPL, it's fantastic. If they get 2, 1, sometimes it is what it is. If they get 5, I'm happy. So, people, I think these players are kind of a given for tomorrow, for Sunday, sorry. The question is, what's going to happen with Gabriel? Because for me personally, it would be this. It would go to that, and afterwards, I'm a bit stumped. I'm not gonna lie. I am a bit stumped. Because if Gabriel is fine, he's gonna play. We all know that. If he's not fine, who is going to play that left center back role? Because Mosquera can play there and Hincapié can play there. Who is going to be there? Just that for me is the next question. Who is going to be there? Still think Gabriel will play. If he's injured and Arteta plays him, might as well him sack now. I'd like to see Hincapié play, or you can play Calafiore as left center back and play Skelly. Yeah, that also could be a thing. But we don't see Arteta play Calafiore as a center back that often. He plays for Italy there, no? Yeah, exactly. Mosquera was predominantly left center back last year because Diakabi got injured for them, so he had to play there. Like, that is the thing. Hincapié or Mosquera. I think Mosquera has more game experience. I think based solely on that, Mosquera actually might play. I think that could be a thing. In those terms. Mosquera will play if Gabriel's injured. Hincapié not match fit. Big risk to play him. Exactly. Hincapié has not played a lot or pretty much at all, to be honest, if you look at the minutes for Arsenal. Yeah, this I can see. I expect that to happen, though. I expect Hincapié to play against Brighton. I definitely expect that. On Tuesday, I think the game is. Or Wednesday, I know. I'm blanking a bit. Who are we putting as a left wing? Who is going left wing? Martinelli or Trossard? Because for me, it kind of has to be Martinelli. For me, it has to kind of be Martinelli. Either way, Mateta will enjoy playing against Saliba and Mosquera. We'll see, but yeah, that is the biggest worry. Mateta is in a very good form at the moment. It's going to be interesting. gonna be Trossard knowing this manager. Maybe. See, people are saying play Martinelli. Yeah, it's gonna be. But I would play Martinelli as well. I definitely would play Martinelli as well. Knowing how they're gonna rush forwards and everything, I definitely would explore that option. I think this starting 11 actually would be the case. This starting 11 actually would be the case. Let me check something. So give me a quick sec. Yeah, I think this would be the case. I'm not gonna swap Calafiori and Skelly because I expect Skelly to start. Calafiori to start. So I think Calafiori is gonna play. I'd play as the over Nelly. Don't let one game fool you. Still the same guy who can't dribble past one defender. Nobody's letting fool anyone. But at the moment, I think it's the best option to have. We don't have a left wing. I want to see Eze more in the 10. Unless when Yeri gets game time, by the way. Unless when Yeri gets game time. If we are looking from that lens as well. So I'm kind of thinking about that. But yeah, there is something I want to show you. You know who this guy is, right? You know this guy? Connor Hum. He works for that place. He works for that place, you see? He works for Aftu, right? And why am I showing you this? Because you might be confused. It's because he said this would be the predicted 11 for the game. This would be his predicted 11 for the game. Do you see something that is not there and something that is there? Do you see something that I see as well? Okay, I've seen it again, even in this chat. Why people suddenly discarding Saliba at the moment? It's not at the moment. It's a bit overall. Saliba is good, very good, right? But overall, with Gabriel falling out with injury last year, he became very suspect at times. It felt like he had lost something in himself. It felt like he needed Gabriel to be good. And even right now, he sometimes he makes still good recoveries. He does something, but he still does something very unorthodox, which really messes things up for Arsenal. Gabi rightfully gets the praise, but why Saliba doesn't? He also gets, but in recent times, Saliba has been under some questions. Whether that's because Real Madrid were sniffing around or what, I don't know. But he definitely wasn't the Saliba we saw before the Madrid interest came along. It's almost the goalkeeper. If you don't talk about it, it means going the right direction. Yeah, but it's going different way. You're fine with that 11. I see. Relax. No Saka. Exactly. Why would he rest Saka? Exactly. He's saying that he is predicting that Saka is not gonna be in the team. For me, that is weird. Why? Exactly. I know him as well. He works for AFTV and he gets the passes and everything. For me, that is the biggest question. I get why Hincapie is at center back because Gabriel is under the question. Saka thing, though, for me is weird. I would love to rest Bukayo Saka. But for me, that is the question mark here. Obviously, resting Saka should be a thing we should be doing, but not too sure how, when, what, and why that could happen. Yeah. You would rest Saka, so you obviously on paper we should be beating them without Saka. But you all know how Mikel Arteta does these things, right? If Saka can walk, crawl, jump on one leg, he's playing. He definitely is playing. We all know how that has gone before. Leave him on the once in a while, yeah, definitely. But is this game against Crystal Palace the game to do so? Is the Crystal Palace game most opportunistic time to leave him on the bench? That is the other thing, because you need to take everything into account. You cannot just say bench him and you just bench him. 13-minute stoppage time at Leeds match. It wild. Where did that come from? Did somebody on the pitch have open heart surgery? I don't know. 13 minutes at a time. That's literally one. That's what, almost 16% of a whole game. 16%, you know. What has happened in this game that it deserves such big time? Okay, Goodmanson got injured. That was 2 minutes. VAR check. That was 2 minutes. That's 4. Another substitution. That was 4 minutes, technically, the gap. So that's 9 minutes. 2 goals. That's 10, 11 minutes. 2 and everything. There was another medical emergency, so that's another minute. If we are looking from that perspective, yeah, I kind of get it. In that perspective, I kind of get it. But overall, 13 minutes, it's something like, yee. In game like this, I'm still, exactly. In game like this, exactly. Exactly. Even if Saka had without Saka and Gabriel, who's going to be the captain? Who is the next captain? Isn't Rice? Let me check this. Martin Odegaard is the main captain. The vice captain is Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice. Basically, it's Odegaard, Saka, and Declan Rice. If Declan Rice cannot also play, then it's Gabriel or Ben White. Interesting when none of them play. Who's the captain, though? 30 minutes in 1/3 of the first half. Exactly. Exactly. Rice most likely. Saka won't be rested. Arsenal playing at home, so he will start. Exactly. I think so too. I think Saka will play. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna. Yeah. That is the thing. Apparently, according to articles and everything, Odegaard's the main captain. Saka is the vice captain. Rice is the third choice. And after that, it's Gabriel and Ben White. Ben White, you know. It's wild. But yeah. Predictions for the game. Predictions for the game. Against lack of my better judgment, I am going 3-0 Arsenal. I'm going 3-0 Arsenal against lack of my better judgment. I'm going to go for a proper win. Now, if we draw or lose, you have no right to call me toxic and negative. Because I predict draws. I have. And we win the games. People come laugh at me in the comments, in the chat, on Twitter, in my DMs and everything. So you have no right to come and laugh at me. Andrew says 2-0. Hendon says 1-1, another stinkfest of a match. 3-0 Arsenal from Godfrey. 3-0 Arsenal from Fusion is not Jazz. You think we can score 3 on Palace and not concede a goal at that? Yes. Yes, I think so. I told you I'm going against the lack of my better judgment. I usually tend to have decent predictions in terms of if I actually take this seriously, not just spew it out like I tend to do, right? If I take this seriously, I think about things, previous results, and all this stuff, I tend to get it quite spot on in between one goal either side. So I'm going 3-0 Arsenal. I'm going 3-0 Arsenal. 2 p.m. kickoff, as well, by the way. 2 p.m. kickoffs on Sunday are always good for. If Palace come to Ashburton in the form they were last 2 games, they may get a packing. Exactly. That's the thing. If Palace come to Emirates in the form we saw against the Cyprus team or the team before, good for us. If we see the same Palace we saw against Bournemouth, where they scored 3 Mateta hat trick, or against Liverpool, we could be done for. That game, well, not done for. That game will become 10 times harder than it was before. I don't see why not. Exactly. Man, Palace on our defense. Yeah, whatever. For you see, you call me toxic and negative. I predicted a very positive result, and this dumbass is still not happy. Imagine I predict 3-1 against Atletico Madrid. Some of you guys said I was on crack. Yeah, I remember that. What did I say? I said 2-1, I think. I said either Arsenal going to win 2-1 or get a draw. Yeah, I remember that. And you were right, Fusion is not Jazz. Credit to you. You had the chest. We even barred them 4-0. I'm saying 3-0. I'm saying 3-0 Arsenal against Palace. Yeah, you predicted that as well, Andrew. You might have missed it, by the way. You might have missed it. But I didn't dismiss any prediction. I didn't dismiss any prediction, by the way. I just saw on social media the fact that people who said 3-1 Arsenal, they got laughed at and everything. But yeah, we'll see how this Crystal Palace game goes, because I expect a win. Without shadow of a doubt against Palace, I expect a win. I am saying 3-0, but I won't be disappointed if it's 2-0. As long as Arsenal wins, because at the end of the day, that's what's important. No matter how you look at it. Yeah, exactly. Calafiori has played left back all the games. Pretty much. Yes, he plays attack more than defense, what it feels like. Yes, he is suspect defensively. Yes, he gets caught out of position quite a bit. Yes. He has 3 yellows. He's 2 yellows away from 1 match ban. Yes. However, we still haven't conceded. We have only conceded, 3 goals in Premier League? We have conceded 3 goals in Premier League. So, yeah. Like, overall, yeah. It is what it is, what it is. Okay, Marlon. If we draw or lose to Palace, right, I will say here that you are right. But if we win against Palace and we score 3 goals, you will get 3-day timeout. Calafiori will get a booking on Sunday, and his 1 match ban will be the Carabao Cup match against Port Vale. You mean Brighton, right? Yeah, Brighton. Is he on 4 yellows? How many yellows do you need for a ban? Calafiori is on 3 yellows. Five yellow cards is for 1 match ban. He's on 3 at the moment. So he might get 2 and like that. Yeah, 5 yellows. Yeah, he's on 3. So he might get 1 against Palace. He might get 1 against Brighton. So he will be out against what? Sunderland? No, Burnley away. He's going to be out for Burnley away. I am fine with that. I thought you said he was on 4. No. He's on 3. He's on 3. It's fine. Luis Kelly would have been playing that match anyway. Yeah, I think so. Is there a world where we can see Hinkapie as a left back against Brighton? Is there something to it as well? Might be there something to it. Could there be something to it? To be honest, if you look from that perspective, there could be something to that as well. But yeah, people, I think on that note, we're gonna end today's stream. My throat is literally killing me. I need to take some medicine and just go sleep. At the end of the day, I don't feel great. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Hope you had a nice stay. Hopefully Arsenal do well. Hopefully tomorrow we get some nice results. Hopefully we get tomorrow some nice results. But Premier League is back. So have a nice evening. Have a nice day tomorrow. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully I'm going to see you soon. Hopefully tomorrow I also feel much, 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 much better. Peace.